Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back, Swish Life Garage, your boy KT as always, man. Before we start this video, guys, I want to tell each and every one of you happy 4th of July. I hope you guys are out there with family, with those that are meaning the most to you, those that love you, and whatever you do, hope you guys remain safe. But as far as for the video, guys, this video I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I've been planning this video for quite a while. The whole process of this video took a total of 6 months. And as you guys could see on the title down below, I did get a custom made drive shaft made for the F-150 for the Harley truck. And so these are clips that I've recorded along the way throughout the 6 months and just try to edit them and put one good video for you guys. I'm pretty excited about this part that I got for the vehicle. It's one of the most baller performance parts that I ever gotten. Of course, you know, in the future there is going to be more builds and more things, more crazier things I'm going to do onto these projects. This is just the beginning process. I do have a whole lot of other videos where you guys could see me do some modifications, but nothing as extravagant, or I feel as extravagant as I'm doing here today. So without taking any more time, guys, let's go ahead and just get right into the video, and hopefully you learn a thing or two. In order to get the custom drive shaft made for my truck, they sent me a bearing, a center support bearing that I'll have to mock up on here and get the measurements and send to them. It looks like I'm going to be able to mock it up, mount it onto the factory location. It's a bit smaller, so it's going to be inside of here. I just have to make the measurements and drill the spots, get the bolts, and just install it and get those measurements like I said. I have to take off this shield here that protects the gas tank for the drive shaft. It's held on by 3, looks like 10mm bolts here, 2 up here and 1 in the back over there. After that, I'm gonna have to take off the rivets. It looks like it's held on by 4 rivets. And I'm gonna have to put them back on with some nut and bolts here.
This is a Chucky Beat production.
You guys saw me hit it with a wire wheel here. I am going to paint it after I drill the holes for it. Now I have it, so I can measure everything out and get the holes exactly where I need them. I'm going to show you guys the bearing that they sent me that needs to be fitted onto here so I can send the measurements. I'm going to be able to put it in the factory location, so none of the measurements should be changing. So that's going to be a good thing. Let me go ahead and measure everything out, and as well I'll show you the bearing. So you guys saw me drill the holes here. I marked everything, drilled the holes, and the bearing does fit right here. It's exactly right in the middle, so it's just how I wanted it. I went ahead and painted this bracket here with the VHT epoxy satin black paint, and I just put about 3 coats on there. Of course, I do have some grind spots because of those rivets. And that's actually the next thing I gotta do. The studs are still in the sheet metal underneath the truck, and they won't budge. I thought they would just because it's thinner metal than the frame. You know, I thought hitting it with a hammer or just pressing them out would do it. But it looks like I'm gonna have to bring out the torch. So here we are where the bracket would be at. The rivet studs are still right here. I'm gonna have to get a torch out. Right here I found some sheet metal in the garage. It's about an 1/8 inch thick, and that's what I'm going to use, so whenever I bring the torch out, the heat doesn't go into the cabin right here and doesn't heat anything up, so this will block it. I'm just going to have the heat on the studs and as well for here, kind of close to the gas tank, but I know we'll be perfectly fine. As well for these are going to be easier because they're not really close to anything like that, but still I'm going to have the sheet metal up there. I'm not sure how the camera angle is going to look, but I'm going to go ahead and get the torch out. So it is the next day. It got late and I was still out with the torch, but I did finish it. Took out the rivets. This one I just messed up just because I was being lazy, but it still holds it in where it's supposed to be in the circle. I was just being lazy. I was trying to be far so the sparks don't hit me, and that's what I get for doing that. Anyways, it still works. I could fix that at a later time. How you would fix it is just weld it just on the sides right here and just fill it in with the metal, grind it back down, and just perfect circle. I did wire wheel it here and put some epoxy black paint on it so it won't be rusting, and I do have the bolts in order to put the bracket back up onto here. At least the hard part is done, taking out those rivets, taking off the bracket. Alright, so I'm still working on getting the measurements for the drive shaft. This is the bearing that it's going to be using. It's still going to be a two-piece drive shaft, but it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to have to just mount this. That's the reason why I made these holes here, is so it'll mount right there. Alright, so now the bearing is installed onto the bracket. There it is, like that. And then just going to bolt it on with these bolts right here. I do have a washer on each side, so the sheet metal would go in through here. Bolt, washer, sheet metal, washer, lock washer, and then a nut. And that's how it's just going to bolt up right to there. Alright guys, so there it is. It looks pretty good on here. The bracket with the bolts, with the bearing. Now I just got to get the measurements. You guys see up there, the bolts need to be chopped down a bit. Now I need to go ahead and lower the truck to make sure I get accurate measurements for that drive shaft. Alright guys, so you guys saw me measure everything out. I took some pictures, sent the measurements off, so now the drive shaft can be made. It's going to take a couple of weeks, about 10 weeks to go ahead and make it. You know, at least I'm not holding anything back right now to get that done. Okay, so here's the package right here from the Driveshaft Shop. Yes sir. So let's go ahead and get this open and see what it looks like. Okay guys, here it is, man. This is, to me, this is just crazy. But check that out. We got the center bearing. That is crazy, man. This is definitely one of the most baller parts I ever bought, like race car parts I ever bought. And then we got the where it will hook up there to the transmission. Has the splines on there. Oh my god, this is tight. And then this is where it will hook up to the rear end. But anyways, I'm definitely going to spend some time with it, just admiring it. Then we'll get started on to putting it onto the truck, and I can't wait to see or to feel what difference it will make. You know, no matter if you have a high performance, this will always help out in the long run, putting the power to the wheels. I haven't weighed it exactly just yet, but they did state it's balance all the way to 9,000 RPMs. And of course, you're not doing the RPMs that you see on your cluster. Transmission is, I don't know exactly what RPMs they're going at, but it's slower than what your engine is going at. So 9,000 RPMs and 1,000 plus horsepower this can take. So I mean, this is the real deal, guys. You know, I'm not playing around. This is legit. So next up, going to be putting this onto the truck. Can't put it on right at this second. Gotta wait a few days, but you guys will see it right now. So here's the drive shaft. just taking it off comparing to the other one. I don't know how much of a weight savings we're gonna have, but I don't know, down there it felt pretty heavy. So here's a side-by-side difference from the carbon fiber to original drive shaft. You could tell it's much thicker in diameter, as well as the where it connects the U-joints is a lot thicker, beefier. So definitely it looks like it can take some more power, some more abuse. I'm excited, guys, because I'm expecting to see some difference, getting some rotational weight off of the drivetrain, but you know, still got the big heavy 20s, and so got to change out the wheels as well. But definitely Driveshaft is going to be helping. Okay guys, so everything is in now, completely torqued down the bolts that go to the rear end, and then I put on the shield. It's still fit for the gas tank. I don't know how well you guys could see, it's a little dark. Put on the shield, and then the bracket on top, all the bolts were able to tighten those up, and then down by the transmission, of course, the slip joint. And there we go. I was thinking about taking out these counterweights. Not sure if I'm going to need them. If you guys see them above the muffler there, I know they're there for the OEM drive shaft, unless they're there for some other reason. If you guys know, drop a comment down below. I'll probably try to take that off after a couple of drives, and you guys will probably see that on camera as well. So make sure you are subscribed. All I gotta do now is just drop the truck and then give it a test drive. Now, alright guys, I did put on the drive shaft and as well lower the truck and take it out for a test drive. But what I did not notice is that the slip yoke is actually 5 millimeters too small in diameter, and so it was causing transmission fluid to leak out when I was taking it out for a test drive. Luckily, I didn't take it out for too long of a test drive, so there's still some fluid that stayed in the transmission. I didn't ruin anything in the transmission. But I am going to have to send the drive shaft off to the Driveshaft shop so they could put the correct slip yoke on it. As well, they may have to chop down the drive shaft a tad bit and rebalance it. Once that is done, which may take about 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to send it right back to me and I shouldn't have any issues. Now, of course, this is a custom-made drive shaft. You know, something can go wrong, and in this case, something just did happen. It was the slip yoke, and, you know, I'm not really making a big fuss about it. Again, this is a custom-made drive shaft, and so it's not like they have the vehicle there in their hands to test fit everything, what have you. So, you know, this is just one of the things that happens along the way. Okay, so just got the drive shaft back in the mail, and now it does have the different slip yoke, so shouldn't have an issue with any of the leakage from the transmission there. They did rebalance the shaft here. You could kind of tell because they took off the glue for the weights and then they put them onto here. It does look like they did put a different bearing on here, and they did include the bolts for the bearing to install it onto the to mount it up onto there. So right now it is currently raining, so whenever the weather clears up, I'll go ahead and install it. Now today finally is the day this carbon fiber drive shaft is officially going to be bolted up to the truck. Of course, I showed you guys I did get the drive shaft back from the Driveshaft Shop. They did put the slip yoke on there, the correct one that I need. On the truck, as of right now, I did change out the output seal for the transmission, so it has a brand new seal on there, and then brand new drive shaft. And then of course, as you guys already know, redid the whole rear end. This is completely redone. Stainless steel hoses for the brakes, and then the flex line, the steel braided flex lines for the calipers. Rebuilt the calipers, redid the bearings inside of for the carrier and for the pinion. Also changed out the U-joints, the universals for the original drive shaft and the bearing on there. Also did the struts or the shocks here, changed them out to the Beltec Street Performance shocks, and then have the lowering bracket, 2-inch lowering bracket over there. And then what else? Also changed out the drop shackles to the Beltec, and then for the leaf springs changed out the bushings there. Not sure if you guys could see them, but they're red. The polyurethane bushings for the leaf springs, and then have the Ford Performance differential cover on there, has additional capacity for the oil. So basically the whole rear end is all done up, and then also with the brakes, just the brake pads and pretty good disc on them. So going to be changing this out officially. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison with the change here. You know, got them pretty much dead even. For the most part, everything is on point. It's probably only a difference of a 1/4 inch or so from the factory one. And then from right here, it can shorten or lengthen this whole sliding mechanism for the drive shaft, because obviously there is some movement that happens back there and for the engine. So this one as well, the new drive shaft, lengthens, it shortens and lengthens here inside of this casing right here. But man, it looks very nice. I do have a scale right here. Of course, I'm only out here by myself, filming by myself, so I'm gonna put the camera on the tripod and try to get the weights of the drive shaft. Alright, so here is the factory drive shaft. Try to make it stand up as straight as possible here to get a true recording. Alright, so right there, guys, that looks to be about 42 or 43. It's as straight as possible, not lifting any weight off it. Alright, now the carbon fiber drive shaft. There it is, standing on its own. It looks to be about 32, I would say about 32 pounds, 31 pounds. So saving about 10 to 11 pounds right here. Here's the seal, the output seal for the transmission that I changed out. Just a brand new one. I believe it's from Timken. So shouldn't have any leaks. There was a little bit of wetness around here. It looked like the one that I had before was from factory. So just a fresh one on there, and then just gonna throw up the drive shaft on here and we should be good to go. Here's a final look at the drive shaft. This has been in the works for quite a few months now. Probably a total of 5-6 months. Got the bearing and all the way to the transmission. I mean, now the slip yoke is complete, and then the drive shaft is made right to spec, fits as it should. Well, there you guys have it. I got the custom-made drive shaft for the truck. It fits perfect. As far as for the differences on the drive shaft, now just starting off, whenever you're giving it gas, it does feel a little bit lighter, like the drive shaft is kind of not there. But as well, it makes the ride smoother because you have less weight, less rotational mass, and as well they did balance it from the Driveshaft Shop, so it's super smooth. Even on the highways it's quieter, it has less vibrations, and so overall, you know, I wouldn't say I'm losing anything with this drive shaft. It can handle the extra RPMs, it can handle the extra horsepower, and I feel like it can handle the abuse whatever I throw at it. Now of course this vehicle is completely stock. The transmission, the engine, completely stock. The only thing I've done to it is really suspension. The whole suspension, the whole rear end has been redone. Now this is a quite pricey part, performance part that you can buy for your vehicle. Some people say I'm just wasting my money, but either way, you know, even if I mod the truck and even later down the road, I'm still going to need a carbon fiber drive shaft. It's not going to change from if I was to get it stock or when I was to get it after I modify, because I still plan to use the same engine and transmission. So it's just something to check off the list. And like I said, I redid that whole rear end. It's just top it off with the drive shaft, and it's, you know, it's perfect, man. I'm having fun with it, especially when I give it gas. The shifts are smoother. I feel like it just takes off a lot smoother and gets me up to speed faster. Now I know this is a pretty lengthy video. If you guys have any comments or questions, drop them down below. I hope you guys are subscribed to my channel, or if not, you know, hopefully watching this video gets you a bit interested into my channel. I have all types of projects going on, so you never know what you might see onto this channel. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. If you stayed to the very end, I really do appreciate it, and just for your one view, I thank you guys for that. You know, I've been doing this for quite a while, and you know, I know my channel is mostly knowledge based, and probably not a lot of people work on their cars, actually put their hands on their cars, but for the ones that need the information, this is who I do it for. So I thank you guys for that, and even for you guys that just want to follow along with the projects and just have the knowledge in your mind, and you know, possibly if someone else is working on your vehicle, at least you'll know what is going on. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. Once again, happy 4th of July. Hope you guys stay safe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, player.